You learned to quiet your footsteps long before you understood why they sounded too loud. You noticed how the air shifted when you entered a room, how voices tightened, how eyes turned away just enough to make you feel like you'd done something wrong. So you started shrinking. Not all at once, but in small, precise ways. You held your breath when doors opened. You memorized the rhythm of other people's moods. You made yourself smaller than the space you occupied, smaller than your own needs. And somewhere in all that careful disappearing, you stopped asking to be seen. Tell me, when did you first realize that being noticed felt dangerous?
You became an expert in reading the room before you ever learned how to read yourself. Every sigh, every pause, every shift in tone, you tracked it like your safety depended on it. Because it did. You learned that being too much could disrupt something fragile, that asking questions could invite silence, or worse, irritation. So you adjusted, constantly. You shaped yourself around what others needed you to be. Quiet when things felt tense. Helpful when attention drifted. Invisible when emotions grew unpredictable.
You didn't choose invisibility. You learned it, the way the body learns to flinch before impact. It became instinct, automatic, a quiet reflex that kept everything stable. Because when you were unnoticed, nothing could be taken from you. No reaction, no disappointment, no rejection. But there was something else too. Something quieter, harder to name. The slow ache of not existing in anyone's eyes. The hollow feeling of being safe, but unseen. And you're nervous. Now you move through the world with that same quiet precision. You enter spaces without disturbing them. You speak, but only after measuring the weight of your words. You've learned how to exist without taking up space. How to anticipate before being asked. How to disappear, even in plain sight. And people notice something about you. They call it calm, or easy, or low maintenance. But they don't see the cost. They don't see how much of you never arrives. How much of you is still waiting, just outside the room. But something in you never disappeared completely. It stayed quiet. It stayed patient. It waited. Not for permission, but for safety. Because the truth is, you were never invisible. You were watching, learning, adapting. You became what you needed to survive. And even now, there's a part of you that still remembers what it feels like to be fully here. Not hidden, not measured, not reduced. just present.